Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I am your host, and I'm so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 12th of wow, that's way ahead of schedule. It's the 12th of November, 2019. It is 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I want to welcome you to the show. I also want to let you know that I am over in our chat room over at 12radio.com. Just head over to number2radio.com, click on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat room. If you have never joined the room before, you will need to ask for entry, but our brave and talented producer Scott is standing by, and he will gladly let you in the room. So that's what's going on. You will see my banner at the top of the page. That's where everybody is chatting, and I would love to see you. What a week so far, right? First of all, yesterday was 11/11, which really ushered in a very fast energy through the end of the year, or at least up to the winter solstice. I mean, you can't really call the winter solstice a fast energy because it's just not, However, you can certainly show, wow, I'm sidetracked by something already. But up until that point, it is a faster energy. It feels like a little cleaner energy than we've been in. I wouldn't say that we are going to be chaos free. I suspect that's not true. But I think that we will be free from some of the tenser and harsher energies that we've been in. So I think that's a real relief. I feel like a lot of you have felt like you were kind of under the gun, under attack, It sucks. So, that's the goal, is to free you up from that and help you to just feel much more like yourself. And I do feel like the 11/11 portal really helps to bring that to us, at least this year, especially just cleaning some stuff up. So it's good. That's all super good, right? We'll take super good. Yeah. All right. So then, of course, today is a full moon. And there's been a pretty big buildup. I have been hearing from you guys for days that you were feeling the full moon coming. You were feeling pretty anticipatory. Is that a word? A little anxious almost, kind of like you were waiting for Christmas morning. I've heard from several people, quite a few people actually, saying that they have been feeling a little bit dizzy and out of sorts. I thought that was really interesting. So if you've been feeling a little weird, that's why. A lot of times the full moon brings a real lack of sleep at my house. And oh my God, I did not sleep worth a damn last night. And I really felt like, per normal, this was the full moon working her magic on me. But I did have a lot of ideas rolling around in my head. So, it's not all bad, because this moon is a great crux between passion and creativity. So if you've got some ideas rolling around, just know that this moon is probably helping bring them to the surface. If you have been working on some ideas, if there's been some things you want to do, then, some things you want to create, something that you want to bring into your life, the full moon is a lot of times about clearing and releasing, but it isn't exclusive to that. And if this full moon is bringing to you some passion to do something, to start something, to create something, do it. Do it. Don't let Mercury in retrograde scare you off. That doesn't need to happen. And don't let the full moon be an energy that you don't dare take action in either. Don't. If your intuition says yes, if the power in you says yes, then by hell, the answer is yes, right? Right. Okay, someone in the live stream asked, is that Rico? It is. This is my little Rico. If you're in the live stream, you'll see him. I don't know what stirred him up right before the show, but he jumped right into my arms, and he's doing what Chihuahuas do. He's shaking. So he's just sitting here with me shaking. I'm thinking at some point he'll get tired of sitting here. Actually, I'll have to let him go soon because I'll need my hands, but this is what he wanted, so it's what he gets. Because basically around here, what we really are is just a little Chihuahua farm where we do whatever these dogs tell us to do. Right? Correct. So anyway, I don't know. I think that it was one of our other dogs was really stirred up by the neighbor dog, and I made her come in the house and go to bed, and he kind of told her off, and now he's just, shaking with power. That's what Beverly Hills Chihuahua says about Chihuahuas, is that they shake because of all of the power they have. Who am I to argue with Beverly Hills Chihuahua, right? I mean, that's a study in Chihuahuaism. Right, for sure. Okay. So there it is. Anyway, we went to Boise this weekend for a football game. I know, you know. And we took the dogs. We took the little dogs, our little Chihuahuas, because our kids miss the dogs. You know, they talk to me on the phone basically every day. They FaceTime, they Snapchat. We have a lot of contact. Plus, we go down there frequently. But the dogs don't, and they miss them. And I hear from both of them. I really wish I could cuddle Rico right now. I really wish I could go lay in bed with Skippy. They really miss the little dogs. And so I had promised them that this would be the weekend that we'd bring the dogs. So we did. And they traveled super good. I knew they would. They've traveled quite a bit. But anyway, it was fun. It was really good for the kids to get to spend some time with them, to cuddle with them. You know, when you're used to living with animals, you need that. Now, Matea actually, her roommate has a dog, and her roommate travels a lot. So she ends up babysitting the dog a lot, and she adores her. So she gets that, but Micah doesn't. And one of the presidents of his campus has a dog. It was a golden lab puppy that he got last year, who's now an enormous golden lab. And he walks campus with that dog every day just to give the students an opportunity to interface with a dog, because so many of them miss their dogs from home and are stressed as hell, you know, because it's college, and need a dog. Yeah, so pretty good. So on the football front, the Yotes won again. It was a bit of a nail biter of a game. It started out kind of rough. Lots of energy work ensued, of course. And after halftime, they came back a different team and fought back and won. So that's their 9th straight win. I was reading an article yesterday that there's only 38 undefeated teams in the entire nation between D1, D2, NAIA, and D3. So that's around 1,000 teams, and there's 38 undefeated teams in the nation. So that's a pretty fun list to be on. That also clinched their win. So they do have one more home game, one more in-conference game, season game, but the outcome of it is irrelevant at this point. It's a game they should win anyway, but they have won their conference, which is huge, and that also means that they will be invited to nationals. It also means that they should be hosting their first nationals game at home, which is an enormous deal for a little college to get to host and have people from all over the country come in and pack their stadium. And wow, what an honor, what a fun thing. What an incredibly fun thing to be a part of. So as you can imagine, Mike is basically on cloud 9, and so are we. This has been a really fun season to be involved in. So that's what's up in football land. I know, some of you are like, football, God, who cares? And some of you ask me every week. So now you know. They're still ranked number 6. They were hoping after this win, because it was another ranked team, that they would move up in the rankings, but they didn't. Speaking of football, did you watch the 49ers and Seahawks game last night? If you didn't, good on you. It's probably why I didn't sleep. If you did, would you like a hug? Do you want to join a support group with me? Holy shit. That was the most insane football game, truly, that I have ever seen. The attention was so high, literally from the first snap. It was something, people. Anyway, if you're not a football person, you just don't care. But if you are, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God. That's all I'm going to say about it. But wow. Okay. Well, there's so much more ground to cover. We don't need to talk about football this whole time. However, I will say that I've been feeling this for years, but it's just so strong for me right now that I have to start compiling all of my notes and all of my experiences in sports with energy and start getting it put into some kind of a compilation of some sort, a book, a blog, a something. But the energy of athletics is enormous, and I think that it's part of my story that I need to tell. So then I can quit telling it to you guys every week. No, I would never. I know. I know. I get it. Some of you guys are like, sports, boo, blah. But others of you get that kind of rush and adrenaline and that kind of energy. So that's what it's all about. Mary said she hasn't slept well in 3 days. She's tired. Mary, come on, man. That's because it was your birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Right? Happy birthday. You haven't slept because you've been partying it up for your birthday. Just kidding. Probably not. I know you went and had some fun, but, and I don't know if I told you that my daughter was also my daughter Mars. It was her 17th birthday on Saturday as well. So you are in very good company, or she is, or probably both. But happy birthday to you, and boo on the not sleeping, man. Yikes. Anna says it's been brutal, and the portal and full moon has me all wonky. Yes, solidarity. Christina said, I did not sleep well over the weekend. I had one dream that was pretty angry and intense. Yikes. Last night I fell asleep and stayed asleep and have some actual energy today. Yay, Christina, good on you. Charlene would love to hear something positive. Charlene, I would love to tell you something positive. Let's get going. I should have a little room for readings in the end of the show. It is our fairy tale tarot day, so we have some fun stuff going on. Lots of good stuff. Okay. Alrighty. Well, Rico, I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's time for you to go find something else to do. You see, he's holding on tight. This is what he does when he doesn't want down. He will do, I think Puss in Boots from Shrek has nothing over on this dog, because the way he will look at you and cling to you when he doesn't want put down will break basically anyone's heart. I have thought for a long time I needed one of those baby Bjorns so that I could just pack a Chihuahua around with me at all times. That way when they're begging to be held when I'm like chopping onions, they could be. You can't spoil a Chihuahua. They're just born that way. Okay. Let's see, where do we go? Well, some show and tell, right? Okay, so last week I showed you guys my Lotus Chakra Organites. And they're a chakra set, so I'm not going to show them all to you again, but if you want to see them, the whole set is listed over on my website at katie-weaver.com in the Joyful Goddess online store. So you can go find them over there if you want to look at the whole set. And I'll probably put a link in the chat room for you too. But I had thought about, I'd been thinking about the root that I had done a red tipped flower with black tourmaline as the stone. And I wanted to try one with silver or gray tip. So that I did one and I really love it. So I'll post that one for sale as well. So you can buy these as a set or you can buy them individually, depending on what your needs are. But the idea behind them, of course, is the lotus is a sign that has been used to represent chakras forever. It is a symbol that represents enlightenment and emerging. And then the organite. So the organite, the process of combining the stone with the metal, which is brass shavings in these, suspending them in resin enhances the energy of the whole process. And so these kinds of products, organite, are really, really powerful for whatever it is your process is with your crystals. But when you do them very specifically for chakras, we can use them to balance chakras in a way that you may not be able to do otherwise, or you will, but maybe not as fast. These are really quick and powerful. So anyway, for example, if you are a writer or a creator and you're feeling kind of blocked and stuck, you might consider sacral chakra organite, because it's going to help you to pull that creativity out. If you struggle with a fragile root chakra, you're constantly ungrounded and feeling anxious and scattered and spacey, a root chakra organite would change everything, right? Well, maybe not everything. It's not going to take out the trash, but it's going to help. If you are struggling with self-esteem and you constantly battle yourself with, feelings of being inadequate or not standing in your own power, maybe you need a solar plexus chakra or a solar plexus organite. If you have a hurt heart, if you are struggling, if you have a broken heart, if you are having a hard time with grief, maybe a rose one or a heart chakra one, would be great for you, and so on and so forth. But the idea is that there should be something here to help you should you need it. So again, you can find the whole set over at katie-weaver.com in the Joyful Goddess store. I did also just post a link in the chat room. So if you want to see that whole set, or if you would like to purchase one, that's how to do it. So I've had this idea rolling around in my head for more than a week that I would really like to build on the idea of orgonite and start incorporating flowers and plants so that we bring in the plant magic aspect, and we bring in the crystals, and we bring in the metals. It's like the trifecta, right? So I thought you could make a charm out of those things in a piece of resin to really activate something that you're working on, like manifesting or love or peace or strength or health or, what have you, right? So my first step was to start learning how to dry the plants and flowers, because that's a really important part of the process. So I am so excited because my first dried flowers actually came out of the bowl today, the stuff that you dry them in. So this afternoon, it's on my docket to start working on my first charm. So I wanted to show you, I dried a whole bowl of these little rosebuds. So I have a ton of them. And I'm going to use them in conjunction with a metal and with rose quartz stones, and I'm going to make a love charm. So it'll be a sphere. It's big. It's like 8 inches. It's like bigger than bigger than a softball. It's good sized, and it'll be a love charm. And so it's perfect for anybody who is looking for love, is trying to find balance in love, is trying to amp up the love in their life, in their relationship. I'm so excited. So I can't wait to see how it turns out. I'm going to make a video of the process of making it, and then of course I'll be putting it on my website. So watch for it, and you know that I'll post it on Facebook too, unless it fails. It is my first attempt at using the flowers, so there's always a chance, but I've got faith, right? I have read a lot, I have prepared a lot. I got faith in my process. It's going to be okay. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, I'm very excited to share that with you. Also, if there's a charm that you want, if there's something that you've been thinking about creating in your world, talk to me about it. Maybe we can put our heads together and I can make you a custom piece. So pretty fun. Okay. All right, so just taking a quick look into the chat room before we move on. All right, I would like to take your attention over to Luminous Magazine. Of course, Luminous is the publication that I put out every Tuesday morning. It's a compilation of work between myself and quite a few of my talented and lovely colleagues over at 1-2-Listen. So, and otherwise 1-2-Radio, and some not there at all, but we don't care. Alrighty, so let's take a quick look. I did put a link in the chat room, but if you'd like to follow along with me, you can also head over to katie-weaver.com and click on the Luminous Magazine button. And you'll see it right there. And you'll notice on the website, it's small, but at the bottom of the page, there's a little spot that looks like 4 directions of arrows. And if you click on those, it'll take it up to a full screen so that you can take a look. So I called this magazine, this edition, the Miracles and Mayhem edition. So that's what I'm calling it, the Miracles and Mayhem edition. If you are with me on that, I think that we are going to see some miracles this week, some breakthroughs, some big shifts of some heavy energy that's been hanging around. And from that, we'll also have some mayhem, because you don't get change without some mayhem. That's just the truth, right? We know this to be true. It's not bad per se, but it is what it is. So I have many times initiated change in my life, manifested change, and then when it came, panicked, freaked out, yelled at my guides, wanted to know what the hell was going on here. And they said, how did you think you were going to get change without having some change? Oh, I guess so. So we'll have some mayhem, but I think we'll get through it. All right. It is also 1-2 day. So there's a lot going on for me today, but I wanted to share with you 2 things that I have for you. First of all, of course, we are on sale all day for the new moon, or for the full moon, sorry, and for 1-2 day. Because of that, I have 2 things I want to bring your attention to. I have my full moon sale Merkaba clearing. Now, we've been doing these for a while, clearing with the full moon. The Merkaba is, of course, a sacred geometry piece. Some people call it Metatron's cube. I've been working with the Merkaba for many years in energy work, and it is so powerful for doing a deep and comprehensive clearing of your physical body, your emotional body, and your spirit body. And so I love doing this one. It is a super, super good price. I did put a link in the chat room, but you can also find it over at 12listen.com under me, Katie Weaver, in my time-based sessions. It'll only be this price today, so if you want to pick it up at this price, and if I were you, I would at this price because it will go up tomorrow. And it's an awesome price. And I would love to do it for you because this is one of my favorite clearings. It's so big. It always leaves people going, oh my goodness, I cannot believe how much lighter I feel. I cannot believe how much better I feel. That is always the goal, right? Okay. And we can, because that clearing also entails a blessing. And so I always want to know, what do we want to empower? What do we want to put out there for you? And so we'll do that as well in that work. I also have my 30-minute session on sale. So if you would like a 30-minute session, you can buy a TBS like that and use it when you're ready. It doesn't mean you have to use it today. You can just use it when you're ready to use it. So a 30-minute time-based session is awesome because it gives us enough time to do a big clearing, a big healing, anything else that you need. Some animal communication, some mediumship. It gives us some time. So that's what I have. And I will be over at 12listen as soon as the show's over for the rest of the day. So I would love to talk to you. That's what I have going on. Okay. Kai wrote an article about time. I loved it. I struggle against time, and then I have to remind myself to quit struggling against time. I was joking with Scott yesterday on 1-2 News because we are well known in our family for being late. And it's just, for years we blamed our kids, but it's not really their fault anymore. Probably wasn't then either. And we're not like 2 hours late, right? We're 15 minutes late. There's a difference. I have family that's that late to everything. But time. Once I caught myself on a Sunday, one of my daughters started rattling off all of the things she wanted to do that day. And I said, there is not enough time in the world to do all of that. And then I thought, oh my God, listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're putting out there. Listen to what you are declaring. And I really flipped the script because at that time I was feeling really under the gun. Like I just could not get enough done. I was constantly behind. And I created a huge change in my life with that shift because I started affirming that I have plenty of time to do all of the things I want to do. That became my main affirmation for a while, and man, did it make a difference in the time I had. Changing your attitude and your energy is enormous. But I loved Kai's attitude, that too, but I loved Kai's article about time. It was awesome. And it definitely made me think a little bit too about how I'm currently spending my time and if it's as efficient and effective as I would like it to be. Spoiler alert, it isn't. Maybe a couple of changes on the horizon for this guy. My tip of the week are affirmations to move through fear. So 3 affirmations if you are struggling with fear. I am growing in confidence each and every day. My goals are stronger than my doubts. I am strong, independent, and courageous. I actually built this graphic initially for my daughter as she was moving away for college because she had big plans, big goals, big dreams. And when go time came, she panicked, like a lot of us do. And suddenly, for just a minute, lost faith in those hopes, goals, and dreams. So I'd made this graphic for her to help her remember that yes, you can do it. Yes, you are ready. Yes, you are strong. And guess what? She is doing it. She is rocking life. Could not be more proud of that kid. Anyway, there's a lot more to share. I would invite you to go in and take a peek, read the articles, see what aligns with your heart, and go forward. It's awesome. Alrighty. So that's Luminous this week. And again, you can find it over at one2listen.com, or no, sorry, over at katie-weaver.com under the Katie's Magazine tab if you would like to see it. So that is what is going on. Okay, just taking a quick peek into the chat room. Okay, this is Mary said, this is Chloe, it's her granddaughter. You have her floor in serious condition. She cannot eat. She choked on food while out to eat and has not been able to eat since, and has been diagnosed with EOE and has a feeding tube and is scheduled to save her life. She needs prayers. Her heart rate is so low now it's dangerous. Okay, so I do want to do some work, Mary, on her behalf, but I wanted to put this into our collective and ask you all to help me for just a moment to do some work on Chloe's behalf. I remember working on Chloe's behalf when she was a toddler. So, all right, so let's all come together. Take a few deep breaths here to ground. I'm going to invite you all to do whatever it is that feels right. Perhaps you will pray, perhaps you'll send love from your heart, maybe you'll chant, maybe you'll drum, maybe you'll dance, maybe you'll meditate, maybe you'll do none of those things, but something totally different. It's okay. We're all combining together. We'll all focus on Chloe's soul, on her life force energy. Looking very pink and gold, Miss Chloe. Holding the intention that the doctors are able to create a full recovery, calling in a legion of angels to support Chloe and her family at this time, commanding a full and complete recovery for her mind, her body, and her spirit, asking that the doctors and the medical staff be fully supported, intuitive, and connected to one another through this process. Further asking for support, comfort, love, and financial support for Chloe's family at this time. And now envisioning Chloe out of the hospital, running, playing, eating, laughing, sleeping in her bed, and spending time with her family, whole and healed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Okay, Mary Beth, keep us posted. We love you guys. I'm sorry you're going through this. We will continue to work on her behalf. Okay, very good. All right. Anna said, I have no concept of time. I want to clean this up in this life and not repeat. I too have no concept of time sometimes. I only laugh because we are kindred sisters in that, and I totally get it. I've been told lots of times. My mother said that to me a lot of times. You have no concept of time. Truth. I've always felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've always felt like when you are feeling, when you are intuitive and you're empathic, you kind of have one foot in another world, and so the construct of this muggle time that you speak of, well, it doesn't always work very well for us, right? That's what I think. That's what I'm going to tell myself. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what day it is. It is the full moon, so it's time for Fairy Tale Tarot. We've been talking about this. This is our third month of it. It became a tradition a while ago. I have this really cool deck. It was actually one that belonged to my mom, and it was one I inherited, and it is called the Fairy Tale Tarot. It is by Lisa Hunt, It's a very cool set. It has, of course, a lovely deck, but it also has a fantastic book. And you need it with this one. Like, I always bristle a little bit at using the book. I don't usually use the book with a deck, but with this one, you have to, because it's going to tell you a whole story. So before the show, I went ahead and pulled a card. So the intention was that I was asking for a message for the collective for this full moon. So this is what we got. So the story, well, I'll show you, the card was the Princess of Wands. I'll show it to you here in the live stream. It is a picture of a girl riding a billy goat. She has wild hair. It looks like she has on a cape. Maybe she's even a fairy. I'm not sure. Well, she's a princess anyway. So there's this craggy tree with all of these fancy roots coming out of it. She actually looks like a wild child, right? She looks pretty excited. The goat looks very proud to be her steed, her noble steed. Pretty fun. All right, so the card is the Princess of Wands. The story is Tatterhood. It is a Norwegian fairy tale. The key words are creative energy, determination, self-confidence, and adventurous, which really grabbed me because I know that this full moon is a very creative one and a very passionate one, and that fits really well into the card that we pulled. So I'm excited. All right, so here we go. Once upon a time, there was a queen who desperately wanted a child. She tried to ease her sadness by allowing children to play in the courtyard below her window. From there, she would watch and while away wistful hours, yearning for a child of her own. One day, she saw a little beggar girl mingling with the other children. The queen yelled out, "You can't play here! This courtyard belongs to royal children only." The little girl looked up and replied, "If you knew the power of my mother, you would not be so quick to send me off. She knows how you would have a child." The queen was suddenly gentler and requested the presence of her mother. It wasn't long before the child's wise mother stood before the queen. "Is this true? Tell me how I may have a child," requested the queen eagerly. The mother smiled and revealed the secret. "You must take 2 pails of water and wash yourself with it. Put the pails under your bed, and in the morning you shall see 2 flowers growing, one ugly and one beautiful. Eat the beautiful flower." The queen did. She did everything as instructed and found 2 flowers in the morning. But instead of eating the beautiful flower one only, in her eagerness, she devoured both. Not long after, the queen gave birth to twins. One was beautiful and glowing, the other wild and unkempt. The wild-looking child, appropriately named Tatterhood, was a free spirit who rode around on a goat, wore tattered clothing, and carried a wooden spoon. She hardly looked like a princess. One night there was a ruckus in the parlor. When Tatterhood discovered trolls in their midst, she set out to drive them away. She marched into the parlor and whacked the trolls with her wooden spoon. But before she realized it, one of the trolls had snuck through the door and found Tatterhood's sister waiting outside. The troll pulled her head off and stuck a calf's head in its place. Then the trolls fled with their prize. Tatterhood beseeched her parents to provide her with a sailboat and provisions for a long trip. She set sail with her cow-headed sister. So, I'm not going to make that joke. Okay. And arrived at a land inhabited by fae. She trotted up on her goat to a castle and saw her sister's head placed like a trophy upon a mantle. A party of trolls was giggling and dancing, unaware that Tatterhood was spying on them from the outside. She leapt through the window and beat the trolls so hard that they bumped into each other, screaming, howling, and finally stumbling into a heap of confusion. In the chaos, Tatterhood took her sister's head and brought it back to the ship. She promptly put it back in its proper place, much to her sister's relief. The twins sailed away for many years. When they arrived at a far-off kingdom, she had her sister hide herself in the cabin. Tatterhood climbed on her goat and rode wildly about the boat. The king of the land stood watching from his castle and immediately sent messengers to the beach. When Tatterhood demanded to see their king, he complied and went to meet the strange girl. When he saw her beautiful sister, he fell completely in love. He escorted the twins to the castle and had them treated like royalty. He finally asked Tatterhood's sister for her hand in marriage. "No," interrupted Tatterhood, "not unless your son marries me." The king readily agreed. On the day of the wedding, the twins rode alongside their future husbands. Tatterhood was a sight to see, with her wild mane blowing. She rode her goat, while her future husband looked at her curiously from the saddle of his steed. As they traveled, Tatterhood broke her silence and told her future husband to say something. Her husband looked at her impishly and asked, "Why do you ride a goat?" "What goat?" "I am riding a beautiful steed," replied Tatterhood. And when the prince looked again, his eyes grew wide with surprise. She was riding a fine horse. "Why do you carry that spoon?" he asked inquisitively. "What spoon?" "This is my wand," said Tatterhood. The prince's mouth fell open. The spoon had transformed into a shimmering, bejeweled wand. "Why do you choose to wear that tattered clothing, though?" asked the prince, more boldly now. "I wear a beautiful gown embroidered with the finest gold thread," boasted Tatterhood. And when the prince gazed at his betrothed, he saw the most beautiful woman in the world. After arriving at the castle, the twins were married, and a glorious celebration ensued. All the folk and fae watched the procession and cheered as the princesses, with their husbands by their sides, led the parade. All right. I loved that. Did you love that? Okay. Symbols and meaning. The disheveled girl is a metaphor of free-spiritedness. Her hair is full of energy, and her red cape breathes life as it moves with the wind. The goat is carefree and lives in the moment. It prances enthusiastically over the icy patches that signify individuality. The owl swoops down on a branch. It is the wise messenger from higher consciousness. The 3 pine cones suggest deliberate actions and opportunity for redemption. The trolls in the background lurk in the shadows of the unconscious but are unable to influence the determined girl. The pine trees are enduring, their roots swirling in continual motion. The squirrel has tendencies at its hoards of acorns. It warns of challenges ahead. The feathers and bells adorning Tatterhood and the goat are expressions of freedom, integrity, and the ability to remain focused on tasks at hand. This is an opportunity to go after your dreams and desires with fiery ambition. Nothing should stop you from moving forward and implementing a plan of action. But be open to spontaneous events that may serve your cause in productive ways. Okay, I can get my head around all of that, but hello, what about the idea, first of all, that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that what you think you see should be looked at again, that maybe your snap judgment or your first conclusion needs to be looked at a little more deeply. And of course, that who you believe you are becomes who you are. And I think that's probably the most powerful message, right, from this story. Who you believe you are becomes who you are. If you believe that you are worthless, if you believe that you are ugly, If you believe a lot of unkind things about yourself, that radiates out. Love yourself, you're not worthy of love. I would never say something so cruel, so stupid. We hear that all the time in New Age and it makes me crazy. However, there is a level of you believing in you. And I'll tell you guys something. Core beliefs from your childhood, core beliefs from your parents' childhood, their parents' childhood, sometimes have a pretty strong effect on how you feel about yourself. Traumatic incidences and experiences in your life can have a pretty strong effect on how you feel about yourself. And sometimes it is very much worth the inner work. Sometimes it is very much worth the energy work, the patterns, the thought clearing, the space clearing, all of the work together to come to terms with some energies that you may be feeling so that you can make room for something better. Because I'll tell you guys something. You guys are powerful. You're a lot more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And you can flip the script on these old beliefs. I will help you if you need me. I have absolute faith in all of us being able to reformat the way we see ourselves. Because it's true that when you reformat the way you see yourself, you will reformat the way other people see you. It's true. It's the way energy works, right? Right. Years and years ago, when I worked in early childhood, we would have trainings, and I worked for the state of Idaho for many years, training childhood professionals, childhood care professionals, right? We were we really didn't want our providers to call themselves babysitters because they're so much more than that. We always stressed that you are a professional in your field. You should act like it. What does it mean to be a professional in your field? Well, a professional in your field continually gets educated. You continually grow. You continually strive to be the best that you can be. You continually support yourself and others. Well, friends, you are all a professional in your field. And I'm not just talking about work, though I could be. But let's not gloss over that. True. Okay. So my guides are in my ear. Sorry. You are a professional in your field. And if you would like to be seen as such moving forward, you have to believe that in yourself. Behave that way. Push yourself that direction. Because it's true. And if the professional in their field in you isn't being treated like a professional in your field, it might be time to go elsewhere. It might be time to demand a little more respect. The professional in her field expects to be paid fairly. The professional in her field expects to be treated fairly. The professional in her field expects to have a job where she is acknowledged, where she is valued, and where she can grow, right? And so if the professional in her field in you is not receiving those things, it might be time for you to reevaluate the company that you're working for, the situation that you find yourself in, and maybe make some changes. Okay, so that pep talk needed to happen, so there you go. What about you? You are a professional in you, right? Nobody knows you better. It's true. Sometimes we're our own best liars, right? Sometimes we will lie to ourselves or close our eyes to things that we need to see, right? Because that's easy. But nobody knows you better than you, which also means that you, as a professional in the field of being you, needs to step up her game sometimes, right? Or his game. I'm sorry, it's been all her, and that's not very fair. Could it be that the professional in her field needs to take better care of her body? Could it be that the professional in her field has been neglecting her intuition? Could it be that the professional in her field would like to do something that she has not afforded herself the opportunity for? You decide what it is, but be a professional in being you, right? Don't settle for second best. Don't settle for the bottom of the pile. You rise to the top. You're supposed to. It's who you are. Okay. Mary Beth said, I have just seen her heart rate monitor go from 30 beats a minute, and then the prayers and healing started, and we watched it jump to 57 beats. It is a huge help. Mary, we will stay on this. Please keep me posted. Okay, and thank you all, my miracle workers. Okay, just a second. For some reason, Facebook isn't updating along with in real time. And that's because Facebook just does whatever the hell it wants. And that is just how Facebook is. All right, I'm laughing because Jane, last week we talked about this cat that's been hanging around her house, pissing off her cat. Her cat's name is Max. This cat is also named Max, but he's kind of a wild child who shows up at her house and upsets her cat. So last week we drew a perimeter. We told him he can't come over. He basically told us, you know, to F off, but we were hoping. Anyway, she just shared a picture of him in the backyard, peeking in the window, showed up for the show. So, hi Max, get out. Yoicks. Okay. All right, quick peek here in the chat room, guys. Okay, I wanted to get to... Rebecca said that the 1-2 Radio app isn't working. Yeah, we've had some weirdness going on, and it's due to our carrier. Our carrier is Live 365, and that is honestly the very best place to listen, because if we are streaming, it is there. And so it is another app. It's Live 365. Number 3, number 6, number 5, and you have to just search for 1-2 Radio because they have a lot of stations, but in my opinion that is the very easiest way to watch. So okay, hello Cindy. She said she's only got 5 minutes to listen. Well, I'm glad that you're giving us your 5. It's good to see you here. Okay, dang it, there was something in the live stream I wanted to see. I'm gonna try to find it. It was someone who said they needed some good news. That's right, it was Charlene. So Charlene said, would love to hear something positive. Okay, Charlene, let's do some work for you, okay? All right, I'm gonna tune in. Okay, Charlene, there's been several things that you've been struggling against here for the last few months. I feel like you have been kind of at your wit's end and felt like, is something going to give? Is something going to shift? I actually feel like here in the next 10 days or so, one of the things that has been hurting your stomach the most has a very surprising shift that kind of resolves it. And you go, that's it? That's it? I feel that's coming really soon. I will tell you that I feel like your tiredness though, because you have been really tired lately. And you have attributed it to stress. You've attributed it to, you know, various things, which is all true. But I feel like it might be more than that. And if the tiredness goes on, I would really like to encourage you to go get a good checkup and just make sure that all is well in your world. I wonder if you need some kind of a tweak or adjustment to your own self-care routine or to your labs or something, because there's some tiredness in you that seems like it just doesn't want to go away. So I'm going to encourage you to keep your finger on that for me, please. I think that needs to happen. That's not a prediction that there's something wrong with you, so don't worry, but it is a prediction tested. So with that, but it does feel like, Charlene, that you do have something shifting here. So we'll take it all the way to the bank, right? Okay, we love it. All right. Taking a quick peek. Terry said she leaves Virginia Beach next Tuesday morning. She's a little nervous about the weather. My layover is in Minneapolis and then on to Wichita. Do you see any delays? I actually don't, Terry. I feel like you will hit a pretty good window in between weather where you'll be able to get on home pretty easily. So I hope that you have had a marvelous trip. I know how much you needed it. And I hope it's been magic for you and just all kinds of healing. All right, Rebecca said, If you have time, I'm wondering if you could answer a question about my brother. He says he didn't get into assisted housing, but I'm wondering if he's lying or if he threw the interview. He's not lying, but he hasn't been honest about why he didn't get into the assisted housing. I feel like there's actually something in his past, something that he had to disclose that maybe you don't know about, that it was the reference. It was a reference. Okay. So there is a situation here that did hurt him. So he's not lying about not getting in, but it is unfortunately because of past issues or behavior that came back and bit him. So, and he's not going to tell you that because he doesn't want to own it. He doesn't want to admit it. I think it's just embarrassing and it's a little painful. Obviously, Rebecca, there's some mental illness here, as we know, and I feel like it's one of those times when it's really tough for him to really stand in a place of being in reality. I think that's probably the best way to put it. He needs to reevaluate his past stuff and see what we can do to clean that up so that he can get into something. He needs it, we know. Okay. Mary said, this 49er fan does need a hug. Nail biter. I know, me too. I'll hug you. You hug me back. Except for I'm a Seahawks fan, but I still love you. Actually, I was always a Seahawks fan until Richard Sherman went to the Niners, and then I had to become a Niners fan because I love him. So I was really yelling for both teams last night, to be honest. I know a lot of people hate Richard Sherman. I think he's so awesome. He does a lot of things to help change this world, and I have to honor that in him. But his big mouth makes people hate his guts. I get it, but okay. Quick last check here in the chat room. Norella said, I would love a read for this emotional day I'm having. Norella, you need grounded desperately. Your root chakra has shifted away from your body, so let's fix it, because then you can self-regulate. So I'm going to pull it back in. I'm going to ground you, send that deep into the earth. Ooh, immediate shift. Can you feel that sliding down you? Very good. Okay, so let's get you all the way balanced here. So I'm just drawing the energy up from the earth to the top of your head and balancing your crown and then back down into the earth. Yep, just creating a really good ground here. So much better. So your crown was way too big because your root was out of whack. And that's where all those emotions were just bouncing around with nowhere to go. Except for, through here. This extreme emotion, painful emotion. So there's nothing wrong with having emotions, right? Right? We're right on that page. But sometimes it gets to be a little much, and I think that's how you've been feeling, Norella. So that should help a lot, actually, to get you more balanced and in place. Okay, so we've done what we do. We've talked down to the end of the show. I just want to remind you that it is 1-2 day and the full moon, so we're celebrating over at 1-2 Listen. I would love to see you over there. I have a great reduced rate, and of course I have those 2 time-based sessions on sale that are awesome to take advantage of right now. So please let me help you if there's anything you need. Have a wonderful full moon. Even if for just a moment, get your fanny outside tonight and stand in those moon's beams. If it's snowing and cloudy and crappy, do it anyway. They're out there somewhere, and suck up that energy. Put your crystals out. Make some moon water. Do something. You are magical. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio, where we are changing the way you listen to the world.